in the center, or some sort of smart port. The interstates, Interstate 65, Interstate 35, have been designated the prime NAFTA superhighways.
Ford Motor Company has made a decision to invest $9 billion in Mexico. And what this highway provides is a way for them to bring goods into the United States to be sold here with none of the jobs being located here.
The highway she's referring to is actually several different projects collectively known as the NAFTA Superhighway. The routes are a combination of existing roads, planned expansion of others, new roads, and rail lines. The project's funded with a mix of private, state, and federal funds. The trade route begins at Mexico's ports on the west coast and runs all the way up to Kansas City, to facilities being developed there known as the KC Smartport. The project,
which would run along both sides of the super shipping port. But the main one is going to be Interstate 35.
Okay, so this may not look like much to the average viewer here, but this is I-35. Actually, over there is I-35. You'll notice that there is a wide swath being drawn. It looks like somewhere around maybe about a quarter a mile to either side of I-35. What this is the Trans-Texas Corridor, the NAFTA Superhighway that they said that they weren't going to build. They are building the NAFTA Superhighway. It's right here. So this stretch goes, this has been about 30-40 miles I've seen so far. And I just spoke to the woman inside, and she says that they're going to continue doing it and widening it even further to where this service station right here will be eliminated. So just thought I'd let you know for who is interested, which probably is nobody.
Now, call it the American Union, or call it the New World Order, whatever you want to call it. But what it's going to do, it's going to change Central America into a huge financial machine.
North American Union that could leave our nation vulnerable on many fronts.
Precursor to a North American Union modeled after Europe.
There's hardly a major area of public policy where the Bush administration has not, through the SPP working groups, rewritten our administrative law and regulations from being U.S. in nature to being North American in nature.
The coalition to block the North American Union wants to defeat a proposed NAFTA superhighway that would stretch from Texas all the way to Canada. Congress has been left largely out of the loop.
They never even heard of this. They don't know a thing about it. What's going on? Well, what's going on is a super elite are taking control.
That is going to be importing all sorts of foreign goods by ship, by plane to Denver airport, by the trucks up from the Gulf. The goods are going to come in up through the Gulf on the ships and load into the trucks on the corridor, Superhighway 35 and Superhighway 65, and then they're going to go up into North America, all over America. Also, now you see, the thing is, they've actually, if they go ahead and do an event down through the central US along the Mississippi and New Madrid fault line, okay, now they will basically destroy all, the facilities, the oil, the gas. People are going to be crying out for some sort of fuel or energy. Is it all just coincidence again then that all the pipelines and everything are actually going through the New Madrid? Now this is the little known New Madrid pipeline bomb, it's called. So it says here virtually every natural gas pipeline in the nation is built over that fault. oil, gas pipelines all across New Madrid. 10 interstate pipelines are at risk from multiple damage from New Madrid and Wabash Valley earthquakes, as well as crude oil pipelines. Okay, so it's all going across the New Madrid. So how convenient, you know, say if you're in your neighbourhood and every shop was blown up apart from Walmart, I think Walmart would then have a captive audience or a captive customer base, wouldn't they? I'm going to include all the links in with this video. Well, if the video is 2 parts or 3 parts, it'll be in with the last part. Okay, so this is actually the new planned pipeline.
News on the show last week, we told you the story of 78-year-old great-grandmother Eleanor Fairchild. She was arrested for trespassing on her own property. Here you can see Mrs. Fairchild alongside actress Daryl Hannah standing in front of tractors that are cleaning a pathway for the pipeline right through Fairchild's 300-acre ranch. Those tractors belong to the trains, or at least are under contract to, the Canadian company TransCanada. You probably heard of TransCanada. They're the foreign corporation which won approval to build a massive, toxic tar sands oil pipeline right through the United States and right through Mrs. Fairchild's property straight down to Texas. In Texas, Canadian and British and Dutch oil billionaires can refine that oil and ship it off to Brazil, England, and China, making huge profits for themselves and for TransCanada. So how did these tractors get on Eleanor Fairchild's property? Well, Texas has very lax eminent domain laws, meaning TransCanada had very little trouble confiscating a large swath of Mrs. Fairchild's ranch to build their pipeline, and not a single local politician or lawyer has come to her aid, mainly because you don't say no to big oil in Texas.
And if you take a look here, look exactly where the pipeline is going to. So, you know, like the maps we've just been looking at with the water coming straight down to the Gulf, basically ships could come straight up to this point and either load or unload oil with the rate that the New World Order are taking over the Middle East countries at the moment in order to take the oil from them and ship it in through up here and pipe it into the country. Now, we've got a pipe going all the way down here as well to Port Arthur. Now again it's going all the way up to that Trans-Canadian superhighway. Okay, you're looking at the Trans-Canada highway here, in which I believe there are protests currently going on against it. Now, as you can see, it's conveniently running straight across the top of the Great Lakes here, Michigan and all that. So obviously Interstate 35 can come straight up to it, Interstate 65 can come straight up to it. Is it starting to make a picture to you yet, guys, exactly how huge this beast system that they are, you know, making here? Okay, so this is a bit of a newer article here. This is from the Examiner.com. So what's in the new federal highway bill anyway? NAFTA superhighways. This is dated July 13, 2012. 2012 House Senate Transportation Conference. Some have tried to convince the public that the Trans-Texas Corridor and NAFTA superhighways are dead, but Congress recently passed a new 2-year federal highway bill, moving ahead for progress in the 21st century, or MAP 21. That not only gives priority funding to these high priority trade corridors, it also makes it easier to hand them over to private corporations using controversial public-private partnership, P3, toll contracts. On July the 6th, President Barack Obama signed MAP 21 into law. A 4,000-mile network of multi-modal toll roads, toll rail, toll truck lanes, as well as tolled utilities, telecommunications and pipelines of all sorts. That would all fall under the control of a private foreign corporation for half a century. Looking beyond MAP 21's expiration in 2014. So that's quite interesting. If it's going to expire in 2014, that would probably say that they're going to try and push some sort of event, you know, that would happen before the expiration.
Thanks for joining us. People in Clintonville say it started late last night and it continued on for much of the evening. Loud boom, some described like thunder, and then the ground shaking. No one hurt, no evacuations, but still nobody knows what has been causing it.
It was if they had detonated. As if they were planning to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, man. 1,000 years before the birth of Christ, ancient prophecies record the details of his life. Let's start first with this family tree. See what's prophesied there in Jeremiah 23. The he be a descendant of King David. Bloodline matches, I can check it, he made it. Moving right along there to Psalm 22. The Bible says his hands and his feet get pierced through. The next prophecy was recorded by Zechariah about the blood money given for the life of the Messiah. 30 silver coins, the exact amount. It's written 500 years before we got sold out. Now I can keep going, but I'm pressed for time. I couldn't fit 300 other prophecies in my rhymes. Secular historians have verified his light, and one living during time spoke higher than Christ. His name was Josephus, he validated Jesus, his life, death, resurrection, miracles, and teachings. But what compels me more to believe is the fact that his disciples died alone in the streets. See, I truly doubt if what they preached was a lie, that everyone except Judas be willing to die. And 500 eyewitnesses said they saw him risen. It only take one.